Hi, my name is Tom DuPont. I'm with CodeSmith Tools, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about searching in our new product, CodeSmith Insight. The primary way to view and organize your data in CodeSmith Insight is with views. These views use search queries to gather their results. So the goal of this video is to show you all the different ways that you're able to search for your data. That way you'll be better equipped to use Insight's views to their full potential. In this video, we're going to talk about search syntax and search fields. We're going to talk about ranges and macros, and then we're going to use all of that to talk about the views themselves and show you how to populate the filters and the auto search. So what we're looking at here is a view that contains all of the cases in this particular instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type things into the search box over here, and we're going to see the results that come back and how they compare to the complete data set that is currently in the system. So the first thing we want to look at is that we can just type in anything we want, plain old strings, and it's going to search the content of our cases for that string. Also, I can type in the case ID. When I search for that, a direct case will come back. So that's going to know specifically that I typed in a case ID and that it matched it. It's going to bring back a unique result. So that's the most simple searching, by string or ID. Now we can also search by fields. So here I could search for project named tester. Note that the field names and the values are not case sensitive. They'll take whatever you want. And say I want to search for something that is 2 words. So Insight sample. I just have to put that in quotes, and then it's going to know that the project I'm looking for is Insight sample. It's going to take that quoted string and search for that as the assigned project. Now let's search for more than one criteria. Now we're going to search for a status of open. And I might not want an L there. Now what this has just done is search for any case that is a project insight sample or has status open. There's no statement here of an and or an or, so an or is assumed, and this is just space delineated. So we had our first criteria where it was the field colon the value, space, the field colon the value. So if I type in or here, which by the way this has to be capital in order to detect an or and, then it's going to give me back the same result. However, I can change that to be and it's going to bring back a unique constraint where the project is Insight sample and the status is open. And again, we can see over here that this result is accurate, that there are two open cases that are assigned to that project. So now let's take this again one more step. Let's do multiple statements, but let's put them inside some brackets, get some more complex logic going on. Let's say where the project is Insight sample and the status is open or the status is accepted. So now we can see we brought back 4 results because there are 4 cases that are assigned to the Insight project, and they're all either status accepted or status open. So the search engine knew how to parse out, we were saying, and this or this. So it knew to do the correct order of operations when doing its searching. Now one more thing to talk about here is negative weighted search criteria. So here we can put a negative status open. Now whenever you do a negative, that is going to, without a negative it defaults to an or, with a negative it is defaulting to an and. And you can't search for a negative on its own, it must be searched for with a positive in front of it. But here we're saying where the project is sample insight and the status is not open. So we can see here there's 2 that are status accepted, and those are the results it brought back. So again, emphasis on you can't just search for a negative, you must search for a positive and a negative, and they're going to default to an and statement. So fields that you can search by, right now we've been doing all this by project and status, but you can search by any field that's on a case. So we can search by project status, we can search by type, and we can do defect report. So we have 2 defect reports that are in the system right now. We can search by tags. So we can search for where the case has a tag Batman. So again, any fields of any of your cases are searchable in this, as well as custom fields. So here in our view I have displaying one custom field of owner, and that is a user type custom field. So here we can search for owner Tom DuPont, and it's going to bring back 2 results because it knows that I'm the owner. And again, that's a custom field. It's not built into the case. We have added that programmatically in this particular instance. And that search is, again, also intelligent. You don't need an exact string. I could just search for owner Tom, and it's going to find the same results because it knows that that is a part of the string of the value of owner. So now we're going to talk about ranges and macros, and I just ended on talking about the owner custom field. Well, we have a macro for who you're logged in as, so I can search for owner me, and that's going to be intelligently replaced with whoever's logged into the system. So in this case, owner me is Tom DuPont, and that's why I brought back 2 results, because there are 2 cases assigned with an owner to me. So that's our first example of a macro, but let's switch gears into doing ranges. Children here is a numerical value. It can be searched for in a range. So we could search for cases where there are 0 to 1 children. So we do 0, dot, dot, 1. And that's going to bring back a range wherever there are 0 or 1 child. So notice that hello world is not in our result set because that has 2. However, we could bump this up to 0 to 2, and that's going to bring back all of our cases because they all match that criteria. But with ranges, you don't need a definitive value on either side. I could search for 2 up until infinity by just putting 2 dot dot and then leaving that field blank. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch out our owner column with our last modified column so we can do some fun stuff with date ranges here. So we can search for last modified, and I can search for 6/22/10. But again, we're talking about ranges here, not specific values. So you can do range values with dates the same way we did them with numbers. So we can add in here, starting at 4/14/2010, dot dot, any range all the way up until 6/22. And of course, all the cases in this particular instance were modified in that time range, so it brings back a complete result set. But again, let's jump back to talking about macros. You might not always want to search for a specific date. Well, we have search macros for intelligent keywords, such as yesterday. And 4 cases were modified yesterday, which today is 6/23. I'm sorry, I should point that out, 6/23/2010. And I modified 4 cases yesterday on 6/22. So now let's combine this. Let's combine ranges with macros, and let's search for anything modified between 4/14/2010 up until today. So 4/14/2010, dot dot today. And that's going to bring back all the search results because it's going to replace today with today's date. And so everything was modified in that time range. So now let's tie all this together and talk about using those search queries inside of our views. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and clear out the search here. And whenever this search bar is clear, the auto search is taking effect. And the auto search is a search query based on whatever row you're looking at currently. So if we look at this filter, the filter is blank, so that's why we're seeing all cases inside of this instance. And then the auto search is any case that is similar to a particular case ID. Now, this is a variable right here. So this is saying whatever row I have selected in the view, I want you to use its case ID to populate this filter. So when it sends to the server, it says, find me anything similar to, in this case, row 3 is selected, case ID 3. So it's going to say, find me any cases similar to case ID 3, which is why whenever we click this and we move around, it's finding anything similar to this case. So project sub is similar to project 2, project 2 is similar, or project sub 2 is similar to project sub. So let's go ahead and we would create filters over here. This one's called all because obviously it's searching for all, but we could do something like project insight sample. And then we could update the auto search, do something different. Say we don't want to only just do our similarity search. Say we want to search for something more or less specific. Let's search for project ID where this is equal to, again, we're going to use a variable here, case project ID. That means whatever case is selected in the view, the auto search is going to search for cases that are of the same project as it. So if we hit apply here and we close this, notice it's always bringing back the same search results. There are 4 results because there are 4 other cases in the project. But that's dynamically populating that using this particular search query, using that variable. So last thing here, let's tie all this together and let's do an AND statement. Let's say status is equal to case status. So we want, anytime we're auto searching now, we want to find cases that have the same status and are in the same project. So here we have a case that's accepted in this project, and we see it has 2 results because there are 2. And if we move to the open, again, the 2 results match. These are both open cases in the same project. That concludes this video over searching with CodeSmith Insight. I hope you found it to be both helpful and informative. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for other videos, please visit us at CodeSmithInsight.com. My name is Tom DuPont. Thank you very much for using Insight.